everyone, and welcome back to World Builder. In this episode, if you haven't really been told by the title yet, we're building the towers for the village. The towers will go around the outside, marking the gate entrances and stuff. This episode is just me designing them and constructing them in the places that I want them to go, because I want to put them there. They all look the same, just kind of bland, but oh well. I think it looks fine in the end, especially if I make the wall detailing different. So, starting out here, I'm going with many different shapes. Eventually I end up settling with the shape size that I used first, because otherwise the towers would just be way too big. And they wouldn't really fit with the scale I have set up as is. You can kind of see here even already, there's like 2 blocks of space in between them with that. So, I try to move it back to make it work, and it just doesn't. It's still not a lot of space. And even then I've added detail, and it would just take up too much space and not really look that good for what I really want it to be, which is why I ended up changing it later. Yeah. I'm using wood framing. I'll probably do this for a lot of my other builds, trying to make the tower taller. But I do it 1 block at a time instead of 4 blocks. I don't know. I undo all that and then break the whole thing. Yeah. Because I'm like, nope, this is too big. Can't have it. Don't like it. And erase everything. So I try to rebuild it. Oh, I just realized now that I took off a bit of the corner of that building over there, but oh well. Yeah, rebuild it with a new shape, paste 2 blocks at a time instead of just 1, and put the pillars in a slightly different place. I end up trying many different styles here, and when I try to copy it over, and that's going to happen really soon, and the video cuts and stops for a bit. Here we go. Yeah, so what I did was I tried to use the paste command, paste -A, which pastes without air, so it pastes fewer blocks, which generally works really well, except for the fact that my stop recording button is minus, or the dash, and you dash paste -A, he presses that, so it's stopped. Thankfully I realized it soon, before I continued building too much, but I did make that little arch thing around the outside, and that's gonna give shape to the roof that I want to build. I want it to be like that type of roof with 4 things on all sides going up, and in the end I think I made it look good, but I didn't like how the wood came together at the top for a lot of it, which is why I kept doing it and then undoing it and redoing it, because it just didn't really work that well when all 4 pillars were there. Though I did settle on something that looks pretty good, and I keep rebuilding the shape and stuff, trying to get it right. But oh well. I'm gonna try this thing on the top with fences, and I don't know what I was thinking. It just looks bad, and the camera is cutting it off, but I did a little stair thing on top too, to try and bring it all together, and it just looked bad. Eventually I just undo it, so it really doesn't matter what I'm doing here, because it looks terrible. Yeah. Not my proudest idea. So I try to fill in the tower, make it look good, but whatever. So, originally in this episode, I was going to do the towers and the walls, but then the towers took the full time to make, and even then went a little bit beyond that, because I wanted to get the tower fully made and designed and built before I ended it, so I didn't really have time to start making the walls. Now what I'm doing here is similar, and the most similar to the final design that I ended up using, though I don't think I ended up using no, I did use fences on the top, yeah. that's like the final roof design there, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I changed it after that. And then I replicate that on all 4 sides. Yeah. And I think that looks pretty good. It's not great, and I do go through a couple more changes, but just trying to make it look different. But I think the design I started with looked best with the stair. Oh, with the stairs. Yeah. So, again, eventually coming up soon, I try to use paste -A again. This was before I realized that using the minus sign ends the recording. But, oh well. So, I noticed it, like, much faster this time, though. So I did, like, nothing other than paste it and then, like, check the recording for some reason. So, it just cuts back when it's pasted. I did, actually, I added in some wood underneath the rooftop area just to give a bit more separation between the sandstone base and the blue roof. And I think that makes it look better, which is why I did it. So, I'm going around and adding that wood onto all of the sides. Yeah. I think this is about the time when I realized that I didn't finish the tower before I started trying to paste it. So, like, I'm like, alright, this tower is pretty much good. Let me just put it all around the map first. Yeah, camera move, get a nice, better position here. And then I, like, paste one tower, and realized, like, oh wait, this is a terrible idea, why am I doing this, kinda. Like, no, stop. You haven't finished the tower yet. I don't remember if I actually got through 2 before I realized. I think I'm, like, going through a moment of realization, like, oh no, I'm starting to build the second one, wow. And I pasted it even. I think that's where I stopped, though. Because I was like, wow, these towers are completely empty. Yeah, there we go. Towers are completely empty and they have nothing else. And I'm like, oh, alright, camera, come back. There we go. And you can see the thing I did on top with this angle. The nice stair stuff. I like it. It's not perfect. I don't know how I want to get it perfect. There's some things I may look at for inspiration on how to get that roof style down. But I think it ends up looking pretty nice when I do it here, so I'll take it. I'm trying out different wood styling patterns for the sides, because I want to make it not look terrible, and I don't want to just do solid, just birch planks through the whole thing, because I think that would look not as good. So I add in some wood pillars and stuff. I mean, that doesn't look terrible as is. I end up changing it a lot, though. I try removing the wood, seeing that, oh, that looks kind of empty, and then I undo the whole thing and try again. Yeah, this went through many different iterations before I finally decided on something that I actually liked. Trying different stair patterns. A lot of different stair patterns. Back to the wood. What I really, yeah, this is like what I wanted, was the wood to come out from the side, adding more depth to it. And I did it up there where I have the little arch and then the top part extends and I cover that. And I add in fences and stuff and make some windows to the top of the tower but not the bottom, because adding windows on the bottom of the tower makes no sense. So, yeah, I never understood that. People make, like, I don't know if all people do this. Actually, I haven't seen it in a while. I think I was the only one that actually did it. But, like, back a while ago when I was still pretty dumb, honestly, with building stuff, I put windows in, like, everything to make up for a lack of detail otherwise, and it was just weird. Now that I'm looking back on it, like, why would you have windows? There's no reason to put windows in your walls. They're designed to protect against invasions. I mean, arrow slits? That makes sense. Like, little tiny things where you can shoot out of. That makes perfect sense. But full-on glass windows, that makes no sense whatsoever. Like, honestly. Yeah, but also, back in the day when I was doing that, I used, I made a square for my castle, and used the same detailing design on all of the walls and the towers. And it was like this super over-detailed, like, crazy stuff. I thought it looked good at the time, And when I look back at it, it didn't look bad. It just looked like weird and like out of place. Like it didn't really fit with the style I was building for. So, yeah, that was on like a creative submit build for rank server, Reborn Craft, if any of you know it. Um, yeah, that was a very long time ago, like 3 years ago or something. And I experiment with pasting the details there. That's what that was. So, trying again. Make sure I get it right. I don't screw up my building. Using the World Edit's nice copy-paste function. That works out pretty well. Get to put it on all 4 sides, duplicate it on the other tower, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that Reborn Craft server, I made terrain, like I made a cliffside terrain that was all lime clay and green clay. Like it was supposed to be a cliff and hills, but it was all just clay. There was no like stone base with dirt on top, it was all grass. And I don't know what I was trying to get at with that. It just didn't work, and now I'm copying the tower. Gotta replicate it exactly. I don't know why I thought, like, all green was a good idea. Like, I just don't understand why that made sense to me. And, you know, to the person that didn't give me the rank, even though, like, I really wanted it, you are right. And I mean, even this build here, the wall detailing is going to be different from the tower details, but it's still probably going to look somewhat similar. And I pasted in that first tower before I realized, like, oh wait, I should move the camera. And then I move the camera. And now you can see all of the world, and where the towers are going, and how much they disturb the environment. And how many houses I had to get rid of. And this is why we plan. Because if I didn't plan out where these houses were going to go, and I built them before I had the walls in, that would have been bad. Because I would have had to, like, do massive amounts of terraforming, and now I can get the walls in and readjust my house planning for it all to fit. And when I put in the actual walls, I'm probably going to have to do that again and make everything smaller, so yeah. Planning is good, and I don't recommend skipping it, because bad things will happen if you do. I know from experience. I've done a lot of things. Same server, Reborn Craft, did a lot of things on there. A lot of village-style builds without planning it, and they all end up looking fine, except for that one house that's like 2 blocks wide for the entirety of the house, because I needed something to fill space. Those were the days. The days of poor buildings. Yeah. I wish servers like that still existed. I really do, but sadly they don't. Well, I mean they still exist, but like, I played them for the community, and none of them have active communities. Like, literally none of them. That's why I'm doing it in single player. Because honestly, this is like me building on a server, but in single player. Because I wanted to. Well, anyway, enough of that rant. Towers are pretty much done here. I add one more. But with that, I'm going to leave this here. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed. If you have any feedback you have for me, and I will see all of you later. Bye.